We got some crazy new units, guys, with some crazy abilities in the last update. So let's go rank all the units' abilities. All right, before we hop in the video, I just want to say thanks, everybody, for helping us reach 300K. Our code unit is coming very soon. And remember, you must be subscribed for the unit. Do not be a freeloader, all right? That way we can get to our 400K code unit as well. All right, let's start off with the first guy. Hey, it's the guy in the thumbnail. We got Diavolo. Now, basically what Diavolo is, he is the replacement for not only Annie, which we'll talk about in a second, but Dio over Heaven. And he also has like Law's ability built in as well, which is pretty insane. So if you guys don't know, what his ability does is, all right, I'm going to spawn an enemy from over here. All right. We'll spawn in a bunch of enemies. If you guys don't know what his ability does, it does this right here. All right, it pushes them back and it time stops them as well. It looks like it also did some damage, which is pretty cool. So it's definitely what I believe. It also like takes out like 25% or 30% of their health. So definitely, I would probably say maybe the best ability in the game. So let's put that ability on our tier list, guys. Erased easily in the S tier. All right, that brings us to our next unit. All right, Annie. Now what Annie does is she is literally a worse version of Diavolo and Dio. All right, so she's really cheap though, which is actually kind of nice. So she actually gets some credit because you look at her cost, it's only 20K to max. So you can actually use this ability in story mode. All right, it just does the same exact thing though. All right, Frozen Giant, which we can't show because we just use Diavolos and they're on the same global cooldown. All right, but because you can use her in story mode, even though the time stop is not as long, we're going to give her a solid A tier. I wouldn't use her for infinite mode, but hey, for story mode, go for it. All right, next up, we have kind of a weird one. All right, technically, this guy does have an ability, and everybody knows how cracked this is. It basically solos every raid. It's the self-clone ability, all right? So that one easily in the S tier. If you guys don't know what it does, it just summons a boss killer. You can put 8 of these down and they're super cheap. So easily S tier. All right, here we go. Next up, guys, we have Domain 9. Now this guy is for Gojo 6-star. Easily S tier right there. The best time stop in the game. All right, now we have Gojo 5 stars, which is slightly worse. Time stop part 4 is really nice because it's super cheap. However, not as long of a time stop as either. So we'll give it some credit. Now, this time stop is just another little bit worse. Target would be a very good ability, but unfortunately, its damage is just way too low. All right, next up, we have Right Names for the 5-star. Honestly, it's just so low. It's like not even worth it, guys. Light Yagami 5-star. Honestly, considering how much they nerfed the damage farm, Light Yagami 5-star, not the greatest. Now, Light Yagami 6-star, I'm gonna have to drop it in the B tier. It is a nice ability, but now we have units like Broly just being a way better version of this. All right, family overall, I believe we'll say this is Whitebeard 7 stars. All right, Whitebeard 7 stars is good. I would say I think it actually does more HP than self-clone, but self-clone is mainly for raid modes, so we'll give it S tier. All right, next up we have Switch Attack Pattern. Now, technically, this is a pretty sweet ability, and it's also pretty good when paired with Gilgamesh. Easily B tier. All right, we got Time Rewind. This one is easily S tier, guys. So basically, it's like Time Stop, but it also makes the move back on the track. Armor Bus is very nice as well. It's like Time Stop, but it holds them at the exit, grouping all the enemies together, which is sometimes pretty spicy and is very cheap, so you can easily afford it in story mode. Perfect Blue Warrior, honestly, kind of mid, no longer the best. All right, the best one is now Kurama, but unfortunately, guys, I don't really think Kurama is the greatest. It's probably better than some of these, but it's definitely not the greatest ability. All right, it might be meta, but you know, it is what it is. Road Roller, again, it's about as good as this time stop. It's a cheaper time stop, but it doesn't time stop as long. All right, this summon is for Yugi. Doesn't summon that much HP, especially when compared to self-clone. Black Flames just does so little damage. It's a cool ability, but the damage is so low. Same thing with Lightning Storm. All right, the damage just is not there. Explosion. I believe this one is for the 5-star Mega Man, not the greatest. However, they sort of buffed this one, so it's actually now B tier for her 6-star version. Venom nukes, again, guys, the damage is just so low, it's just not worth it. All right, rewind, it's a cool idea for an ability, but unfortunately, the damage is just way too low. Same thing with super transformation. They're cool ideas, it's just way too low damage. Sun and Moon, slightly higher damage, but there is like a cap of 100k. I really think they should buff Crollo, maybe make the cap 1 million or something, and that would make him a lot better. All right, now guys, unfortunately, Shinzeo Sasageo is no longer the best buff in the game. We now have Music. All right, Music is now the best buff in the game. It's giving 50% more buff. Well, actually, I think it's technically 25% more buff than Shinzeo Sasageo, adding 50% more total damage. Very, very good. All right, not a lot of people use Merlins anymore, mainly because Music does give a little bit of a range buff. However, it's really recommended you stack these two together depending on your unit and your map. Meteor Strikes does so little damage. Same thing with Lance Mech. I just can't recommend it. Detonate Bomb had potential, but again, so little. All right, next up we have Chakra Mode, which is actually the same thing as Self Clone, but the damage is so low, it's just not really that worth it. All right, next up we have Replacement. Now, Replacement is so good in the new Winterfell raid. We're easily giving this S tier. Basically, it's really good for maps with a long straight track. If there's no long straight track, it's not worth it. March, unfortunately, guys, just isn't really worth it anymore. It just doesn't do enough damage. Blizzard, again, not a good ability at all. Same thing with Lycoris. Time Stop Ultimate, guys, is actually just a worse version of Erased. So we're gonna have to give it A. Honestly, I'm gonna give it B tier. Like, honestly, I don't really see you ever using Gojo. I mean, frick, Dio. Just because Diavolo just does more damage is just really, really better overall. String Stuns for just not a great ability. Old Ice, it does a decent amount of damage compared to the D tier ones, but still not recommended. Scream, again, the damage on Scream is just so low, not really worth it. Devilback is a cool ability. It adds like 1 million damage, but it's still not good enough to be even close to meta. Draw a card, though, is insane, guys. I know it sounds like you're just drawing a card, but Yugi is pretty much meta, I think, for every single game mode. Even it was meta for a raid for a while, but they did nerf Yugi a little bit, but not enough to knock this out of S tier. All right, Enhancement is a decent ability. We'll give it A tier. Not a lot of people use this one. Life or Death is really just time rewind, but more expensive with a larger range. So they're very similar. You guys can use either one. Sword Blockers, same thing with Enhancement. Not the greatest. All right, Wall of Light, though, easily S tier. What this does is it cuts the enemy's HP in half. Global Zero slows all the enemies down, but nobody really uses it. And Eat the Dirt resets cooldown. There's maybe some cool ways to use this, but I don't see anybody using it at the moment. So there you go, guys. That is the final tier list. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know if I missed any abilities on the tier list, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.